Hey guys, good morning. Today's going to be a bit of a UI day, so I'll start by showing off some progress I've done on the win screen of a battle. So I'll get into battle here. I've super ramped up the enemy experience because it better shows off some changes I made to the XP ticking down. Here we go, so I get a lot of experience. Whoa, that didn't better show it off at all. What was that? Alright, 1 second. Ooh, alrighty, let's give this another go. And I'll flame all of them, which will kill them. And then I get a huge chunk of XP because I've ramped it up, and you'll see that I've got this acceleration going. And I gain quite a lot of levels from those ramped up imps. But yeah, it ramps up quite a bit and then it hits a counting down cap, which will be proportionate to the amount of XP you get. Generally, you probably won't go from level 1 to 18 in one fight, but you can see that as each player hit the XP requirement to level up, the level text goes green to show that they've leveled up, and it popped up with that highlighted level up text. And I believe if you're watching closely to the actual level up text, there seems to be a bug where sometimes when I draw text onto a surface and then I draw the surface, the reason I'm doing that, by the way, is because if I apply fading to a number and those to text, and the text fades out and it has like an outline, the alphas like multiply onto each other and it doesn't look right unless I draw it all to a surface and then I apply that alpha to the surface. Yeah, but there seems to be a bug where sometimes text drawn like that, some of the characters get cut off. I believe the top right of the V's were getting cut off, so I'm gonna have to investigate that. But yeah, and I added the little XP bar there, which is quite satisfying to watch that go up. Of course, I still need to get a cursor here that shows you the treasures you've won. Maybe I'll stop this bottom bit from drawing so that underneath I have room to draw the item description and I can push everything up. Maybe. In terms of implementation, that's all I've got. Oh no, wait, I had that. Yeah, that faded out after battle. It's the same effect going into battle, I just played it again basically, so yeah, it doesn't just snap out. Cool, I think that's it. In terms of implemented stuff, I'm going to go to my Photoshop, and this is the other stuff I've been working on. For the demo, I need a few interfaces. First of all, saving interface. I need to figure out how I'm going to go about doing saving. There's at least 2 files that are going to be associated with each save, and that'll be the standard save stuff you can see here. You can overwrite when you hit a save point or something. Another thing that needs to be saved, which will pair with these files, is the map generation information, because if I only had everything saved like this on a save point, then you could go into a dungeon, you could look at its layout, and then for whatever reason, if you turn the game off and on, that stuff wouldn't save because you hadn't gone to a save point. So there is essentially some auto saving happening, where whether it happens when you enter a new area that needs to be randomized, or I do all of the randomization at the start of the game and store some kind of seed, that needs to be separate from the save files. But I think how I'm going to do this is when you start a new game, you elect a save file. You can see in my draft here I've got 4, but it'll probably be unlimited. You know, you go right to left, just like saving onto a memory card is. When you start a save, you'll elect a file, and then every time you save, it'll just save onto that file, so I don't need to add more interfaces for overriding and then warning you not to override stuff. If people really, for whatever reason, want to duplicate the save file, which I can't think of any gameplay reason why you'd want to, you could still go into the root directory of the game and like manually copy and paste the files on the operating system. I don't really care if people do that, but saves me a lot of effort and people accidentally overriding their saves. If I just allow you to elect a save file, it gives it more of a feel of permanence as well, I think. Pretty much when I get around to implementing this for the demo, until I add like a nice title screen or something, it'll probably just load into this straight away and you just pick the file you want to play. Obviously picking an empty one means you want to start a new game. And if you do that, you'll go to the ding, create a party screen, woohoo! So I'm just thinking about what I want for the demo, and it's really just your 5 people, pick their classes and pick their names. For the demo, I'm not going to bother with custom names. For the final product, I'll definitely have it, so if you want, you can name all your characters. Name input's actually a bit annoying. Because I'm targeting console and gamepad play, I have to be conscious of that, and one thing that I can't really do is exclusively allow keyboard name input. I can have it as well as controller name input, but just because I'm focusing controller, it means in the long run I'm going to have to make it, if say you navigate the cursor and then you click on that, it'll have to come up with all the characters and stuff. It's going to be really annoying, but something you pretty much have to do. For the demo, I'm just going to have it these are like 2 columns by the way, so this name field will be repeated down. I'm thinking character limit of 10, but yeah, you can go like back and forth between the 2 columns. If you click on name for the demo, it'll just take names out of a pool of names. I'll probably have all your favorites like Henez Gamer and all that stuff, but maybe I'll pinch some people's YouTube names or something, and maybe my most dedicated followers, I'll give them names for the demo, and if you just keep hitting the name, you can random it. Selecting on a class will bring up this ding, my little class selection. So I've basically allocated slots for 12 classes because I think that's what I'm going to do the first iteration anyway. I'm not concerned about how the classes will look, so what I'll probably do is have the 5 I've got and then create 7 recolors out of what I've got. I'm focusing as much on the technical part as I can of the demo first, and then I can see how I want to allocate my beautying up resources afterwards. Of course, ideally you'd want unique art for all of the classes because there's not going to be enough to justify recolors. In terms of enemies that you fight, I'm happy to do some recoloring. It's kind of a throwback, and at the same time, if there's going to be like 200 unique enemies, some of them can stand to be recolored without feeling like you're just fighting the same enemies over and over. And yeah, you can see what I'm trying to do down here with the summary. If you're hovering over, there'll be a cursor, of course, that selects these. The reason there's like a pair of each of them is I was thinking that I'd do downward view and sideways view of each of the classes, just for, I don't know, to give you a good view of them. Quite a lot of screen room that I'm not using up, so it's all good. So down here they have the class's full name and their abbreviation, their 3-character abbreviation, what equipment they can equip. So for the warrior, you'd expect them to wield swords, shields, and heavy armor. For a caster, it might be like rods and heavy armor. Right now in the game, it's all sword, not even shield, and it's just sword and heavy armor because there's literally 6 equipment items in the game. Having a decent spread of what your party can equip would be a good idea, because there's the nature of the game, there's going to be a lot of random equipment. Shops might not be as reliable as they are in mainline Final Fantasies or whatever. Yeah, that's one consideration. Another consideration will be the curves. It's very subtle down here and confusing, but if you imagine this as like a graph from left to right, it's max health, MP, strength, defense, magic, resist, and speed, which are the varying curves that I've got right now. Colors just off the top of my head. I was just trying to get an idea of how I could represent the curves of each class, so that you can, if you're unfamiliar with the class, like you're playing this game for the first time, you have a few ways of kind of fitting the pieces together in your head. The warrior, based on his description, based on the heavy equipment he can equip, and based on his curves, you can kind of figure out that he is a tanky melee character. Yeah, text space quite limited. I didn't quite get to the end here. I could probably fit 4 lines. If I need more space, I can expand sideways. I'm just thinking about the demo for now, because long time in the future I might want additional information. Maybe I'll have it you toggle through a few windows, and a graph like this is more clear what it is, and maybe I have previews of what skills you can get. I'd have to give information for the class trees that are not going to be a part of the demo, this stuff. As it is now, this is typically where you get a lot of your stats and your commands from, but it's going to be the pretty standard. You gain commands as you level up for the first run of the demo at least, because it's going to take a lot of work to do that tree stuff. That's it. The next thing I got to do is implement this stuff. I think these are okay to implement. Another thing is I've got like I love the random all button, so that it just randomizes your classes for a bit of a challenge. In the distant future, I want lots of options for kind of different challenge runs you can do. The whole structure of the game is going to be based around randomization and stuff that encourages replayability and encourages trying out the different classes, and a lot of permanence as well. So when you are attempting a challenge and you create your party, that's the party you've committed to. But it's not too bad of a commitment because it's going to be a very modular game. It's not going to be like a one grand 20-hour story that you go through, and if you pick a bad comp, then you're pretty stuffed. But yeah, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'll have to spend quite a bit of time just implementing all of this stuff. So expect a boring episode for the next one, but I'll try and add some spice. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Thanks for watching. All the best. Peace.